In the last section, we generated our first Meteor project. After running the Meteor command, we installed some default packages, and then eventually we got a message that some application was running at localhost :3000. So let's try visiting this address inside our web browser and see what happens. I'm going to flip over to Chrome and then navigate to localhost :3000 like so. Once I get here, I'm greeted with a welcome message that says welcome to Meteor, and it has a button we can click and also has some tutorials and links down here at the bottom as well. So this right here is the default Meteor project. Whenever we create a new Meteor project, we get this default page for us, and we load it whenever we go to the address localhost :3000. So this looks great to start, but definitely something that we're going to want to expand upon over time. Let's flip open our code editor inside of this directory and see what we have to work with in here. Go ahead and open up the project with whatever code editor you're using. I'm using Atom, so I'm going to open up Atom. You could also be using Sublime, JEdit, Eclipse, whatever you'd like to use. Everything works equally well with a Meteor project. So unfortunately, Atom does take a little bit of time to start up. There we go, very good. So inside my Project Explorer on the left-hand side, we can see some default files and folders already in here. And I know that this text on here is pretty darn small. Unfortunately, I can't make it bigger, but don't worry, we're not going to be working with this too much just yet. So whenever I start a project or whenever I'm learning some new topic, and especially whenever I'm teaching it, the number one thing that I want to make sure of is that you understand where all of the code inside of our project is coming from. Every last line of it. I want to make sure that you understand why we're writing every single line. So to that end, the first thing I want to do inside of our project is delete this boilerplate that we've already got in here. I want to make sure that we know exactly why these files exist. So I want to delete this, and we're going to start totally from scratch inside this project. There are a couple files that I want to leave in here, and we'll talk about what's contained inside of each of them. So we're going to leave a few in here, but for right now, I'm going to first delete the entire folder called server, and then I'm going to delete the entire folder called client. And so those are both gone. So I'm going to flip back over to Chrome now, and you can see that when I refresh the page, I get absolutely nothing. So at this point in time, we've got a complete blank slate, 100% blank slate at this point. Cool, so this looks pretty good. Good place to start. We'll talk about the existing files that are in here in just a second, but for right now, I want to talk about a slightly different topic. In the last video that we looked at, we mentioned how this was going to be a section talking specifically about React. So we're going to be working through a React project here to get started. The first thing that we need with React to understand is exactly how we install the library. So we'll definitely talk about what its purpose is, how it works, all that kind of good stuff. But the very first step is to actually install it. So let's take a look at a diagram that's going to help us understand this. React is a third-party dependency. It is a library that is not included with React by default. So we have to go out and actually install React as a dependency for our project. So this is a diagram of what's going to happen when we install a dependency. Down here at the bottom is where we're starting. It's our Meteor project. So it is the project that we just generated. Whenever we want to install a dependency, we're going to run a command that is automatically going to reach out to what is called the npm registry. The npm registry is a public repository where a lot of free packages, a lot of free libraries exist. And at any point in time, we can reach out to this registry and instantly and automatically install a third-party dependency. The npm registry has tens, if not hundreds of thousands of libraries out there that already exist that we can reach out to and install modules instantly. Once we run a command to install a package, and the npm registry is going to hand that package or that dependency back to us, and it's going to get installed into our Meteor project. So this is going to be step one for us. We're going to install the React library as a dependency to our Meteor project. Let's walk through the process of installing this dependency. Back in my code editor, I'm going to stop this development server from running, and I'm going to do this by hitting the keys Control-C. So I can hit just Control-C, and it will exit out of the running application. Now to install my project or my dependency of React, I'm going to run the command npm install -- save and then React. And then just run it. So this command is going to reach out to the npm registry and find a dependency called React. There is also that -- save in there as well. We'll talk about exactly what that is doing in just a second. After the command runs, we get a big print up here of all the different dependencies that were installed with the React library. So npm modules themselves can have their own dependencies. They can have these modules that they depend upon. And as you can see here, the React library depends upon several other libraries itself. I'm going to flip back over to my code editor now. And you'll notice inside of our project directory, we now have a new folder in here called node_modules. So this is where files that we install or dependencies that we install are placed. If you scroll down the list a little bit, towards the bottom, you're going to see the React library itself. All the other folders that are in here, you can also see on this list of dependencies that were installed with React as well. So for example, there is core-js. If we flip back over to Atom, you'll see the folder on here, core.js as well. So whenever we install an npm dependency, we get other dependencies along with it as well. Cool, so this installed React as a dependency to our project, but there's still a lot of questions we need to answer here. For example, what is React? What is it doing for us? We're supposed to be talking about Meteor, right? This is a course about Meteor. Why are we talking about React at all? How do we make use of React? How do we now use it as a dependency inside our project? So these are all questions that we're going to be answering in the coming sections. Let's get to the next section and start working on our project. I'll see you there.